All right, and joining us now from Washington is Bob Cusack, editor-in-chief of The Hill. Bob, good to see you, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It has been about a week and a half now, and White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said yesterday he's still confident in the president's claim. How significant is it, I should say, that Republicans like Congressman Nunes are also expressing doubt?
Oh, I think it's very significant. I mean, Nunes has been a backer of President Trump, but on this issue, they've asked for some proof. The administration wanted the deadline extended, so they don't have the proof. And obviously, you get the sense that Nunes has done his own investigation, or at least a preliminary one, and they don't have anything on this. So it's really up to the White House to prove that claim.
I want to ask you about the Russia investigation. There have been conflicting reports about whether today FBI Director James Comey will reveal whether he's looking into the Trump campaign. We know he's on Capitol Hill. Any sense of that and where he's going with all of this?
No, I don't, Rena. I mean, he has been there has been some leaks that he was just, he couldn't believe what Trump had tweeted out. So I think, and that has not been denied by the FBI. So I think that Comey wants to, remember, Comey has gone after both the Bush administration and clashed with the Obama administration, obviously controversial figure in the 2016 election, but he's a very independent guy. So he wants the truth out there, but he hasn't said anything publicly. So this is going to get a lot of attention in what he says to the panel.
And he's pretty confident as well. He said he's got it's 10-year stretch that he's got and 6.5 more years left on it. So he seems pretty confident that he's still got the backing of the president, who has the right to fire him if he ever wanted to.
Yes, he does. I mean, Trump could get rid of him, but by all indications, Trump wants him on, and he is, technically it's an independent position, and Trump has not made any moves. So I imagine we're going to see James Comey at the FBI for years to come.
Let's go and switch gears now to the other big story of the day. The White House released info on President Trump's 2005 taxes yesterday ahead of a report on MSNBC. The returns show he paid $38 million on a $150 million income that year, but reported more than $100 million in business losses. There was no smoking gun here. So explain to us why the American public should care about a president's tax returns.
Well, because Trump hasn't released his tax returns. As you know, he said repeatedly, I'm under audit and I can't release it. And then Kellyanne Conway, after Trump won the election, said, well, listen, we don't have to release them now. It wasn't voters didn't care about it. Only reporters care about it. Polls show that people do care about this. So any news, any figures certainly get attention and should. But there, as you said, there was no smoking gun here. We saw some 1995 returns being written about last year by the New York Times. But I do think you're probably going to see some more leaks of this during the Trump administration, which is a crime.
We know President Trump today, he decried this sort of as fake news, but yesterday his team appeared to confirm the tax returns. We don't know who leaked these tax returns. The reporter who was affiliated with this said that it could be somebody from the Trump team. We just don't know. So why do we see these two conflicting statements where the White House confirmed it and yet the president calls it fake news?
I think that he calls a lot of things fake news, some things that are proven eventually to be wrong, but also other things that I think he just views as very unimportant. I know that there's that theory that he leaked it. I don't buy into that. I just don't think that there's an incentive for him to put this out, especially a 2005 return. So who knows who leaked it? And that's the question now is, will the Trump administration investigate of who leaked this?
That is a big question, Bob. For months, the Trump team said they couldn't release any of his tax returns because he's under audit. Does confirming the authenticity of these documents undermine that claim? And is there likely to be more pressure now to release the returns and put this issue to rest?
I don't think this issue, DeMarco, is ever going to go away while Trump is president because recent precedent has that both Republicans and Democrats running for president have released their tax returns. At the same time, this is a 2005 return, and I think when he was talking about the audit, I thought he was talking more recent. He hasn't been too detailed on that. We still don't know if that audit is still going on. He hasn't addressed it, but I think he's going to be repeatedly asked about whether he will release his tax returns throughout his presidency.
Bob, I can't let you go without talking about the health care bill. The White House said that they're open to changes. What can you tell us about that, and how do they strike the balance, sort of appeasing these House conservatives to get it out of the House, but yet keeping it open to these Senate moderates who also they need their backing to get this through?
You know, we're tracking all the votes on our website, thehill.com, and looking at it this morning, I thought last week they could ram this through the House without changes. Now I don't think that. I think they're going to have to change the bill, and they're going to have to appease either the centrists or the conservatives, and it's highly likely they're going to appease the conservatives by tinkering with the bill, phasing out the Medicaid expansion and Obamacare, but that could cause some centrists to vote no. Remember, on the House floor, Paul Ryan can only afford 21 Republican defections. Right now, we've got them at 13. So that's a real problem because a lot of members are just not returning our phone calls and they're saying, I'm undecided. So this bill is in a lot of trouble, and that's why they have to change it.
Well, Bob, if they do get House conservatives on board, what happens if the bill gets to the Senate?
This bill is dead in the Senate, and a lot of senators have said that, whether that's conservatives or centrists. So the Senate's going to have to come up with its own bill. I don't think they're going to start that process until the House shows that it can get the bill through the House. It has some tax provisions, and those type of tax bills have to move first in the House. So the Senate really won't be on the hook, and they're not rooting for that House bill. They've taken a lot of flack for a bill that was not crafted by their own chamber. You know, some Republicans privately, they're hoping that the House doesn't pass that bill, so the pressure won't be on them.
All right, Bob Cusack in Washington. Bob, thank you, and good to see you.
Thank you.